Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. You made it through the weekend. Not that that's tough to do, but I hope you guys are doing well. Busy week coming up this week for a lot of folks, a lot of parents out there sending those kiddos back to school. Some kids started already. A lot of them start this week. Certainly different routines taking shape around the household for sure. At least that's the life we're in, which I'm sure a lot of you are as well. I'm really sad we have 4 kids. So our second oldest is going to kindergarten tomorrow. He's going to get on the bus. Just makes me sad. Get out of the house. Just kidding. Yeah, it's good and it's bad. I'm excited for him though. He's super excited too. So hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. Kind of showery, right? Kind of yucky. Not the best of weekends weather-wise. I mean, we saw the sun poke out from time to time, but it was mainly just dodging rain coming off of Lake Michigan. So that was fun. So we'll dive into that. A couple things to talk about here. We've got kind of a lot to talk about in terms of weather changes coming our way. We have a taste of fall, which we hinted on over the weekend. That taste of fall coming the next couple of days. And then we're going to do the other extreme. We're going to go right back to extreme heat as we get into the weekend. Could be one of our hottest weekends of the summer coming up. Isn't that crazy how things go like that? But that's kind of what it looks like in terms of the weather forecast here. So we'll highlight all that for you. First and foremost, want to thank our early birds here. Rhonda's with us tonight. Phoebe, hello. Wendy, hello to you. Debbie, good evening to you as well. Let me quickly get through our sponsors. FBI Buildings, you guys need a new pole barn or any reconstruction or renovation of one you already have on your property or for your business, FBIbuildings.com is the place to go. They've done over 20,000 across the Midwest, and they're just fun. Give them a good follow on Facebook if you can. They're just funny. They just have really good posts. I really like people with a sense of humor and companies with senses of humor, and FBI Buildings has that, but they do great work, and their work speaks for themselves. Minogue.life, navigating the world of Medicare, Medicaid, life insurance. It's a mess. There's a bunch of new rules coming up in October that we'll hint on in upcoming broadcasts, but Michael Minogue has been doing this for Northwest Indiana. He's been serving kind of as the teacher of all this stuff in helping clients navigate that world. Do you have too much life insurance? Do you not have enough? What kind of Medicare do you need? All sorts of different rules coming every single year with state law and stuff like that. So Michael Minogue's great at navigating that. He would be happy to help you navigate that yourself. Again, Minogue.life is the website. He says he gave me some great tips on life insurance. He actually works with Women's Life and Catholic Life for life insurance. And a lot of people don't understand, but like taking care of our gutters for our house, right? We make sure our gutters are cleaned in case there's going to be heavy rain or a storm one day. We don't know what day that is, right? But you do that in advance of the problem, right? With life insurance, you need to make sure you have enough because you can't run out when there's a problem, right? And a lot of people do that. They don't know how much life insurance they need. And some people are paying way too much and they have way too much. So Michael's there to help you save money in that aspect. Minogue.life, the place to go. Public Service Adjusters is publicserviceadjusting.com. If you have an insurance claim, go to them first. Don't go to your insurance agency. What they will do, they'll handle the whole process from start to finish. You don't have to do a thing. You can be hands off. You don't have to call your insurance agency and wait for them to call you back 6 times a day. Not fun. So any insurance claims, publicserviceadjusting.com. Ewing Mechanical Services, that's our HVAC gurus here in Northwest Indiana. They have a special right now, still ongoing, $69 for an AC tune-up. It's not too late to get that AC pumping out cold air. You're going to need it out ahead of next weekend. So get that scheduled now. It's ewingmech.com. Tigerplumbing.net, the place to go for your local plumbers. If you've got water pouring out of any place it's not supposed to be pouring out of, you might want to give them a call. You can see who's coming on your phone. You can schedule it on your app. You can even take a picture of the problem and send it in on the app too. It's super useful. And they come out for free, which is awesome. They don't charge you $100 just to come on out. It's free. It's tigerplumbing.net. Finally, Grigger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. They've been serving Northwest Indiana for decades. They're a wonderful family-owned business. If you need a new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge Jeep or Ram, any of those, they sell everything. Grieger's is the place to go on US 30 there in Valparaiso. All right, let's dive into some rainfall totals, shall we? Actually, we'll dive into that in a second. Let's say hi to a few more people that joined us here. Yeah, Derek, I feel you on the downpours for sure. Jill, good evening to you. Ethan's with us. Dee, hello. Vicky, good evening to you. And look at this. Tom coming in with a whopping 3.2 inches in his rain gauge. and Munster over the last few days. Tom, we're going to cover rainfall totals. I'm glad you brought that up. So we'll verify what radar says versus your rain gauge. I probably trust your rain gauge more than I do technology. Rain gauges do it. They measure the rain, right? All right, so here's the pattern that we've been in. I took this all the way back to Friday when we had that line of severe storms roll through. So you can kind of see it here. It's going to go fast. Here's a line. There it goes. This is that low pressure as is winding up. And notice how every day during the daytime we get storms and downpours that pop up. Then they go away at night. And then they popped up again today. Now they're going away once again. This has been a really good rain producer for much of the Great Lakes region, right? And it's needed, right? Any rain in the summer is good. The thing you don't need in the summer is 10 inches of rain. And that can happen too in a hurry with thunderstorms, right? Here's a cool look at the satellite. I could look at satellite all day. I mean, this is a real view from space. Super cool. You can see kind of the popcorn-like nature to the clouds. In us here locally, we have some lake effect clouds. Yeah, there's enough cool air aloft to produce some lake effect. So you can see this little area of just kind of some low to mid-level stratus clouds that we have here across the region, keeping the clouds coming. Meanwhile, we have some sunshine in Whiting and Hammond back towards Chicago. That's the difference with that north wind and the lake effect clouds versus not. But we've lost the rain. That's the good news. So here's your rainfall total map. And I just want to, you can see the swirl with that low pressure across the Great Lakes with kind of how the heavier rain is orientated in terms of direction. But we got some really good rain out of this. So let's zoom in and look at some of these totals here. So heaviest down towards our southern counties. I don't know if you can see the counties very well, but here's Newton, here's Jasper, Lake, Porter, and LaPorte and Stark counties. Okay, that's kind of where we are. Here's Lake Michigan up here. So let's just take a couple little readings around here. 3-day totals in Maryville, 1.3 inches. Areas of Porter County, we had anywhere from 1.5 inches to 2 inches. Down here in Newton County, about 1 inch, 1.8 inches. You get the idea. We had some pretty good rain around here. As you get, further off towards the northeast, LaPorte County didn't see quite as much, anywhere from 1/4 inch to about 3/4 inch out in LaPorte County. But some of the heaviest totals, Lake County, southern and central Porter County, Valpo checking in at about 1 inch of rain. And then you can see, inch, 1.5 inches, 2 inches down towards the south. Tom, I still believe your total. I really do. I feel like some of these are on the lighter side. But that's what the radar data tells us. All right, so our weather pattern right now, here's Ernesto. I think I called it Alberto last week for like 10 minutes. Ernesto heading off towards the north, big hurricane. Everything kind of waiting for that. All right, remember we talked about this last week, how here's your low pressure, and this is a strong area of low pressure. That's what a hurricane is, right? And everything kind of waits for that because the hurricane is the king of the atmosphere. It's such a strong low that it kind of rules everything around it, right? And so this trough that we had kind of relaxed and sat for 2 days versus clearing on out. As Ernesto lifts north, so too will it pull this trough out and eventually get on out of here. The yellows on here, this whole map right here this is water vapor. And water vapor shows the flow of air masses so nice. You can look at satellite, you can look at radar, and you can tell where the flow is. But if you look at water vapor, it shows everything. I just love water vapor maps. I don't know why I don't show them more. But it also shows this yellow in here, which is dry air. And that's what helped erode our lake effect rain showers that we had. There's some dry air working in. We didn't have that earlier. You can see where the blues are. That's deeper moisture in the atmosphere. We're still getting some pop-up storms over towards Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, up into Canada. But the big picture pattern, you can see kind of the flow of everything. Everything's coming out of California going north. That's our big ridge. And then it comes down in the east. So that's our trough. So whenever you see a big undulating pattern like that, it's not zonal. Zonal's west to east. When you have this undulating pattern like that, you tend to get extremes where you get real hot somewhere and you get real cool somewhere. And depending on what time of year it is, it can be brutal cold or brutal heat. And what we're in right now is that trough. So we've got kind of not extreme, but we've got some pretty cool conditions even for this time of year. And then out towards the west, there's some searing heat out there as well. All that is going to come east. All right. So let's track that ridge. A little bit different setup here. I'm not going to take you through the next couple of days because they're easy going. We're going to have some lake effect clouds still left over, maybe a stray shower, but most days are going to be have some sunshine with them, quite a bit of sunshine and cool temperatures as well. We will talk temperatures. But I want to talk big picture pattern as we go over the next 10 to 15 days, because this is when things start to change, all right? Here's our trough, eastern half of the country. Watch how that trough digs down even further. as a area of low pressure kind of breaks off of that and heads further south. So that keeps us cool. Remember, we talked about the cool fall-like mornings. This is going to be your fall preview the next couple days with real comfortable temperatures, real comfortable humidity as well. That heat isn't far off, though. So this is Tuesday. This is Wednesday. We're still pretty seasonable, right? But then watch how things change. Here's Thursday, kind of a day of transition. And then Friday, once this high pressure moves off towards the east, we start to drag this dome of heat closer, all right? And then as we get into the weekend, this is Friday into Saturday, look how that baby expands, all right? And really why that's expanding is there's going to be another little ripple of energy coming into the Gulf of Mexico, which kind of pushes that bubble north into our area. So that heat will expand into Missouri, Kansas, Illinois, Northwest Indiana. We're going to get hot around here too. And that's for the latter half of the weekend. So Saturday looks pretty hot, Sunday especially. And this looks to last into Monday with the core of the heat really right over the region. This is very similar to what happened earlier in June on the East Coast, where the core of heat got displaced and it was right over Vermont and New York. And we had some of the hottest temperatures in the country there. We're going to be amongst some of the warmest temperatures, or hottest, I'll say, as we go into Sunday and Monday, as it looks right now. It doesn't last too long, though. This is Tuesday into Wednesday. Not only will there be a cooler high pressure up in Canada that helps to relax that ridge a little bit, but everything kind of just backs down a little bit. It's not quite as extreme. So we'll go back to near average as it looks just a couple days later. So it doesn't look like this heat lasts all that long. Let's talk rain chances, because there's really not a lot. And I mentioned, I think it was Wednesday on the broadcast, we did that severe weather coverage, whatever night that was. And we talked about how we needed to squeak out every bit of rain from this weekend that we could, because we're going to go dry again. And we certainly are. It still looks to be the case. So here you go. This is Monday. We're dry. I can't rule out a lake effect sprinkle. It just happens this time of year with some of those clouds that linger. That's not for everyone. That's just where the lake effect clouds are tomorrow. And then Tuesday looks okay as well. And then look how we're just dry. We're just dry through the whole thing. Might be some kind of thunderstorm complex coming at us Thursday into Friday. It looks to fade, though. And I agree, because we'll have pretty dry air in place. And then that heat really starts to build for the weekend. And there's really no big systems around. What we'll have to watch into the latter half of the weekend as that ridge breaks down, there's going to be some kind of frontal boundary. So we could be talking, and especially with that heat, and we'll have some humidity as well, we could be talking severe weather chances next weekend. And that would be like the latter half, like Sunday into Monday, as it looks right now. Okay, just a little heads up on that. But we've got a fairly quiet week weather-wise before we turn active again the following week. So that means it's a temperature story. And these are your latest model outputs. This is from the Euro for our temperatures. So a couple stories here, all right? These are your highs, and here's your lows. Look at the next couple days. 70 tomorrow, 70 on Tuesday, 74 Wednesday. But look at the lows. I mean, we're in the 50s. And then Wednesday morning, I posted this yesterday, we're going to be in the 50s for a lot of us, but some of us could be in the upper 40s waking up Wednesday morning. So we go from that upper 40s, maybe Wednesday morning, to this low 90s into Sunday, Monday, maybe even Tuesday next week, depending on where that front passes. So we've got a hot upcoming weekend next weekend. And then look at these overnight lows. I mean, we go from an overnight low of 49 to maybe in the upper 70s. This is amongst some of the hottest air that we've had this season so far for the summer, right? Our overnight lows, if they're in the upper 70s, that tells you you've got a real hot air mass around, all right? You don't get a lot of relief at night. And again, this comes with some humidity. So we've got some pretty hot conditions coming our way this upcoming weekend into the beginning of next week. If there are any change, a lot of people say, Matt, do you see this changing at all? If there are any changes, it may back down a degree or two, but models are pretty good at picking up the temperature story over the next 10 days. All right. They're pretty good at that. You might see some minor fluctuations if there's storms in the forecast. Of course, that can change things if you don't get sun versus, you're got hot sun all day versus storms. That can certainly change temperatures. But I think this is going to hold on to the weekend. The other thing I want to show you just for kicks, and then I'll answer your questions. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and get them in the chat now. That's the whole point, is ask some questions about the weather or whatever else life advice you need. Not that I'm perfect to give it, but I want to show you this because this is kind of silly. This is the GFS. All right. GFS always goes crazy, right? GFS is saying 90s over the course of the weekend, and then it has upper 90s to near 100. Let me show you the 12Z. This was earlier. it had 90s by Saturday, and then it went up into the mid 100 single digits. I don't know how to say that. It has us at 104 and 102 degrees on the 28th and 29th. All right. I don't want to discount it, but I want to discount it. Okay. The GFS is nuts. It's always nuts. That's why I don't like the GFS. It's good for some things. It's bad for others. But who knows? We could have mid upper 90s and 100-degree temperatures next week. We'll see how that ridge holds. The GFS obviously does not break it down, and it makes it expand to historic levels. Okay. Our record high, I think I checked on the 28th, is 93. So if we're going to break a record by 11 degrees, that's incredible. I mean, that's going to be all the national broadcasts are going to be right here in Northwest Indiana. Okay. So we'll see what happens. A model's saying it. Could we stay hot? We could. Could that ridge not break down? Sure. But is the GFS the best option in this case? Probably not. I like the Euro. I always have, at least for the last couple of years, especially with temperature stories. So that's what we've got. All right. So go ahead and ask your questions if you have. If not, we'll get you on your way on this Sunday evening. Guys, just to let you know, I appreciate you so much. You've got a busy schedule. I know you're in the middle of dinner right now. I'm in the middle of getting my PJs on and going to bed because we've got morning show obviously tomorrow. But from the bottom of my heart, it blows my mind that anyone would join on a Sunday evening to talk weather. And I think that every single week. And I appreciate your support, and I appreciate you guys, especially as we're wrapping up summer. I mean, there's some busy times coming ahead. So I feel you. All right. Rhonda, thanks for joining us. I appreciate that. Appreciate you spending time out of your schedule to talk a little bit of weather. Let's see. Ethan asked a great question. Could we see an MCS by the end of the month? Kind of saw it in the modeling, could be wrong. No, Ethan, you're exactly right. So what Ethan's asking about in terms of MCS is a mesoscale convective system. Big word, right? But basically what that is those usually go with that pattern that we call the ring of fire pattern, where you have a big dome of heat and you get the storms that rotate around it. Those big storms are in big complexes, right? You get these massive spaceship looking storms. Those are called MCSs in the meteorological world. So Ethan's asking, could we see a pattern where we get a big complex of storms that rolls through here sometime by the end of the month? And Ethan, I certainly think we could. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've got the heat in place. That ridge is going to be established. I'm leaning more towards a frontal boundary coming in with just some big old pops along it. But we could see, before that's coming in, we could certainly see MCS development along that ridge. Just depends on a couple of things. It matters where that ridge is established. It matters how it interacts with that cold front as it's coming in. It's not always perfect or clean. And it also matters what that low-level jet's doing at night, right? Do we have enough flow out of the Gulf of Mexico along the Rocky Mountains? That's what happens. Air subsides, Rocky Mountain air meets that Gulf of Mexico air, comes on up, feels storms at night. That's why we see that development in the evening. It just depends on what that's doing. If that's disrupted in any way from a high pressure or something in the Rockies, it can shut it all down. So certainly could see that, though, for sure. Okay. Gail, good evening to you. Yeah, mean streak. Thanks for joining us first and foremost on our YouTube channel, but I do appreciate your comment. Looks like typical Northwest Indiana weather, 50-degree temperature swings. Crazy, right? And we're not even talking feels like temperatures. I mean, feels like temperatures could be, we're talking 60, 65-degree swings, so we'll see. Vicky, there's no indication that we are going to stay cooler. It does look like we could have another round of some heat as we get into September. We've had hot September stretches around here. We've even had them in October where we've had some 90s. So I don't think we're done with the heat quite yet. It does look like that ridge backs down, though, and kind of backs down across much of the country. So we'll see. But, no way to tell at this point, but we are due for more heat after that. It's certainly climatologically speaking, we're not quite done yet. Chrissy, thank you for joining us. I appreciate that. Nick, you're welcome. I appreciate you joining us here tonight. Ethan, you mentioned your forecast. That's awesome. Yeah, could be the same pattern for sure. We'll see. So, all right, guys, I'll get you on your way. I don't want to waste your time. So again, cool the next couple mornings. It's gonna be great. I mean, it really is. Tomorrow morning's going to be kind of the start of it. We should be in the upper 50s tomorrow morning, and then we're talking low to mid 50s Tuesday morning, and then upper 40s Wednesday morning. That's going to be your cool spot. Temperatures during the day are going to be great. We're going to have a nice breeze as well. And then we rebound. Friday's our transition day. By Saturday and Sunday, we're into the heat. Humidity will be here as well. So we're looking at a real hot weekend next weekend. But as of right now, it looks dry. There's going to be some storms just towards our north, so we'll have to keep an eye on those. to see if the models change on that and bring it a little bit closer. Okay. All right. Have a great week. If there's any kids watching, which I know there are often sometimes, have a good school year this year. You can do it. It's going to be great. And study science as much as you can. All right. All right. Talk to you guys soon.